My child, I need you to hear me clearly right now. Sit down. I am not asking you. I am telling you, because what I am about to release into your life will buckle your knees, if you are standing when it arrives. The size of what I've been working on for you has no limits on measurement, and no limits on people. And you, the person listening, are the one I've been making this for. Chosen one, your hands are shaking a little for a reason. Your breath just changed for a reason. Before your conscious mind could start to process what was said, something deeper than thought and memory knew how important what was said was. You didn't just happen to find this message. You were called by name in a dimension that your ears can't reach. But your spirit has been there for years. What is going to happen in this message is not a normal spiritual chat. It's not a bunch of words meant to make you feel better for a short time before the feeling goes away. This is a direct, specific, and focused message from the source that has been shaping your whole life up to this point. It's not a figure of speech that you need to sit down. You need to keep your body in place. If you felt a warmth in your chest, or a pressure behind your eyes that you can't explain, write "I receive this now" in the comments. This means that you know you were meant to hear this. When you write those words at the exact moment that you realize it, they become a part of your physical reality. Do not wait. Don't think about it. Type it. Certain things I know about you are things you have never told anyone else. Not because you want to keep things to yourself, but because the experiences were too specific, too personal, and too strange to explain in everyday language. Still, I'm going to name them now. Being heavy is something you've always felt, that other people don't seem to have. Something like a weight or spiritual density that sits on your shoulders like an invisible garment you can never fully remove. It's not depression or sadness in the clinical sense. Before they even say a word, you can feel what other people are carrying when you walk into a room. It's not your tension that you're taking in. You've never had anyone look at you and say, "I see what you are holding. It is real, and it is not yours to carry. I see it. It is real. And the season of carrying what was never yours ends today." The second thing about you is even more deep. You've had times, sometimes in the middle of a normal day, when you had a strong knowing that stopped your body in its tracks. You were in your car, when you realized you needed to change your route. When you were about to say yes to something, a wall of resistance rose up in your chest, and made it impossible to speak the word. These things did not happen by chance. These were not signs of anxiety showing up as intuition. These were messages from a system inside you that has been helping you since before you could remember anything. A system so complex that most people never even know it exists in their whole lives. You knew though. You always felt like someone or something was talking to you from a place you couldn't find on a map. When people finally hear the name of the third pattern out loud, it makes them cry. You have been through times when everything falls apart at the same time. Not just one or two problems, but a complete disassembly of every part of your life at the same time. Why does everything fall apart at the same time? Is the question that has been bothering you the most. The answer to that question will change how you understand your whole past. The collapse at the same time was never a punishment. In no way did it show that you were cursed or forgotten. It was a complete reset. People who are making something don't only clear some of the ground before they start building something with no ceiling. He gets rid of all the structures, foundations, walls, and other things that were built by people and their limitations. Please type, "I am the one," in the comments if what I just wrote sounds a lot like your life. What comes next will explain why the fall was never the end. It had to be done first. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community, through the link in the description, or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. You were given a dream, not a sleep dream, a calling, a strong sense of purpose that started in you when you were young and hasn't gone out. You don't have a goal inside you. It is something that God put inside you before your body was made. I hold the fifth sign with the utmost care, because it has the most holy weight of all of them. Things that should have killed you have kept you alive. You were betrayed so deeply that trust stopped making sense to your body. You lost so much that you forgot what it was like to wake up without feeling heavy in your chest before you even opened your eyes. And yet, you're still breathing, still looking, and still hopeful. That's not being strong. That is an undeniable sign that God protected your life before you took your first breath. Attention, please! What I'm about to say ties everything I just mentioned together into a single system that has been working in the background of your life since the day you were born. You've been putting limits on what God can give you. Not on purpose, not because you're proud or unsure, but because of a defense mechanism that was put in place during your darkest times. When blessing after blessing was put off and promise after promise seemed to fall through before it could happen, something inside you quietly set a limit on what you could expect from God. You told yourself that it was smart. Being realistic is what you said it was. As long as you don't get your hopes up or prepare yourself for another crushing disappointment, you framed it as spiritual growth. But it wasn't smart. It looked like a wound but was said in wise words. Also, we're going to call this what it is. This is the ceiling for blessings. The blessing ceiling is an invisible wall you put up around your life, using pain from the past as building blocks. Any prayer that wasn't answered turned into a brick. Every dream that was put off became mortar. Every season when you put out a lot of faith and were met with silence added another layer of support to a structure you didn't even know you were building. Now you live under it. You pray under it. You dream under it. And every time the Father tries to give you something bigger than the ceiling you set, your nervous system stops it before it even lands. This is not a flaw in your character. This is the architecture of survival. Because hope made you think of bad things, your brain learned to keep you from having it. What it did was set a cap on the amount of expectation that your system could handle. Anything above that limit is automatically thrown away, sent somewhere else, or thought to be for someone else. You believed you were smart. You were surrounded by walls. This is the shift that makes everything different. The Creator doesn't work below your ceiling. You put limits on your own ability to receive, but He doesn't change how He delivers to fit those limits. What He planned for you was made in its entirety, without any cuts, without any compromises, and without taking into account the walls your pain taught you to build. The blessing with your name written on it, in a language older than any human language, is now pushing hard against the bottom of your ceiling, making the structure start to crack. You have been able to feel those cracks. You've been sensing them as restlessness, as sudden waves of emotion that come on for no clear reason, and as a strange feeling that something huge is coming, but you can't see it yet. Those aren't just feelings. That sound is the sound of a ceiling breaking from above. Not because of your hard work, but because of how heavy what is trying to reach you is. You were not keeping yourself from being let down. You were being careful around magnitude, and now magnitude has arrived. I want to tell you about a practice that has 3 steps. When you hear it for the first time, at least one of them will seem very strange. Here is a plan for taking down the blessing ceiling on purpose, instead of waiting for pressure to make it happen painfully. The first step is called the honest inventory. Take a moment to think about this question. The biggest blessing I'm willing to believe God can really bring into my life. Tell the truth. The real answer, the private number, not the answer you would give in a prayer group. Note it down. Take a look. Then tell yourself that what you wrote is not your faith. That's your ceiling. The second step is the planned growth. Add 10 to what you wrote. It's not a wish or a positive thought. It's a way to fight the part of you that was trained by disappointment. Out loud, read the longer version. Your nervous system will fight back. It will get tight in your chest. Let it fight back. A defense only works when there is a real threat to what it protects. Having trouble right now doesn't mean that the expanded number is wrong. It's proof that it's exactly right. The third step sounds wrong, but it's the most important. Do not get ready for the blessing anymore. You've spent a lot of time and energy getting ready, organized, and in a place where you feel like you deserve to receive. But the preparation was never about getting you ready. It was about how willing you were to not be ready and still receive. The Father doesn't wait until your home is spotless to come in. As soon as He walks in, the house is clean. Stop getting ready, start getting. Please type, "I am ready," in the comments if you have been following me up to this point. Your willingness is all that is needed. Let me take you to the next level of what's been going on inside you. Since the blessing ceiling was just the first structure that needed to be named, below it, there is a second mechanism that works. This one is more subtle, hidden, and powerful in many ways. Some things have been so good for you that your body didn't know what to do with them. You had stopped knocking on a door and it opened. Instead of being happy, your body went into a state that looked like shock, but was actually something really different. It got cold on your hands. It got harder for you to breathe. There was a voice inside you that said, "This can't be real. This will be taken. Don't trust this." And within days, sometimes hours, you started blocking the very thing you had been praying for, In the eyes of most people, this is not self-sabotage. This is a neurological event, and we're going to give it a proper name. This is the collapse from the overflow. When blessing goes over what your nervous system has been trained to handle, the overflow collapse happens. Your brain, body, and every other part of your survival system were all built during times of lack, disappointment, and pain. Your system knows how to deal with lack, but it has never learned how to handle abundance, real, unqualified, bigger than expected abundance. When it comes, your body rejects it in a way that looks like fear and feels like not being worthy. It works like your immune system fighting off something it thought was a threat. Let me show you what the overflow collapse looks like in real life, not just in theory. Think about Hannah, the woman who prayed for a child, until the priest in the temple thought she was drunk, because she was crying. It wasn't quiet when she prayed. Everyone who saw her pray thought she was in a state of desperate desperation. And the answer did not come as a single child when it did. It came as a prophetic mission that would change the whole country. Hannah didn't get ready for the baby before her prayer was answered. She prayed until she looked like a drunk woman. That's not getting ready. That is receiving without any guards up. And what came through the open hands was so much more than what was asked for, that it made the asking seem small. Hannah only wanted one thing. God did something so much better than what was asked for that it made the request look small. You are going through that. You asked for comfort. Restoration is on the way. You wanted things to be stable. A lot of good things are on the way. And stability will feel like a flaw you outgrew. You asked for peace. Coming soon is a goal that is so important that peace won't just mean the absence of conflict. It will also mean a level of alignment that is so strong that conflict can't live in your atmosphere. Let me talk about something that most spiritual messages don't talk about before we go any further. Something about the way your brain is wired is directly linked to everything we've been talking about. Neuroscience has taught us something that most people who are interested in spiritual growth have never heard of. Most of us weren't looking for it, not because it goes against what is holy, but because it came from a different direction. A clinical way of going, a scientific way of going. And what it shows about how the brain was meant to work is directly related to what we've been talking about. I'll tell you what they found soon. But for now, hold on to this question. What would happen if the fog that has been obscuring your thoughts for years lifted? What if you felt like the sharpest version of yourself disappeared and never came back? What if that isn't getting older, spiritual failure, or a permanent condition? What if it's something that was taken away from you in your brain and can be given back? As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Let me now talk about the third mechanism, which is why God told you to sit down before giving you this blessing. The body is ready to move when a person stands, with muscles tensed and weight evenly distributed. The brain and nerves are slightly stressed, When you're doing something, you stand. It's the posture of someone who wants to achieve something, and thinks that what's coming depends on their ability to grab it. But God didn't tell them to get ready to stand. He told them to get ready to sit, because that's how you receive. Your body lets go of the stress of being independent when you sit down. Your nervous system changes from being on high alert to being on receiver alert. Your muscles relax, your center of gravity drops, and your brain finally gets the message that it's okay to stop controlling things and start accepting them as they are. We are going to call this the receiving posture, because it is not just a spiritual idea but also a physical fact. Your body and mind must be in the receiving posture before they can accept a blessing that is bigger than they can handle right now. As an analogy, think of it as updating the software in your brain. If your phone gets an update that is bigger than the current operating system, it won't try to install it while you have 12 apps open. It tells you to stop everything and be still while the new architecture is set up. That's what it means to sit. It turns off the apps, stops the efforts, and makes the body still so that the new operating system can be put in. When the two halves of the brain work together, the brain naturally moves into the receiving position. You can't force it to stop striving, it stops on its own because the receiver is now in the mode it was made for. God told you to stand that way, and it has an address. You've been trying to receive while standing, running, moving, having your hands full, and your mind racing. And God waited. With all the patience of a mind that knows no end. He had to wait for you to find this message. He waited until you were sitting down and then said, "Now, the delivery can begin." This is what the receiving posture really needs. First, let go of the false sense of control. The blessing that's coming isn't because of what you did. The idea came from a mind that doesn't work in time. Let go of control. This is the first thing you need to do to sit down spiritually. You are only in charge of receiving. Second, make your body feel safe. It's been so long since your body was in an emergency that being safe feels dangerous. It seems careless to rest, but you are safe. What you were waiting for is not going to happen. What's coming next is going to be so much better that your body doesn't even know what it is yet. Third, don't ask for things that are already on their way. When you prayed for the blessing, it seemed like it hadn't been sent yet, but it has. It was packed up and sent out of heaven before you woke up this morning. You can expect it in as little time as it takes you to sit down after standing up. Now I need to talk about the last part of the system that ties everything together and shows why this blessing can really be as big as you want it to be. God has heard your prayers and given you specific things, like a certain amount of money, a certain relationship, or healing. And those prayers were real, but they were also very short. Not because you are weak, but because your prayers are shaped by your past. And your past taught you to ask for what seemed possible, instead of what was already planned. This gap has an idea behind it, and you will never pray the same way again after seeing it. This is the remainder that never ends. The infinite remainder is the space between what you asked for and what God plans to give you. You asked for enough money to pay the charges. He set up wealth for future generations. You asked someone to love you. For 3 generations, He made a covenant partnership that will change the spiritual climate of your family. You asked for one part of your body to get better. He planned to fully restore systems that you had no idea had been hacked. The gap between what you want and what He actually wants is not just big, It's infinite because it comes from a place where there are no limits. Don't ask for things that you can count. Stop praying for things that fit with what you already know. So much bigger than your biggest request is the blessing that has your name written on it in eternal ink. Your biggest request looks like a footnote at the bottom of the first page of a book that doesn't have a last chapter. I will tell you what Abraham learned about the remainder that never ends. Barakah is the Hebrew word for blessing. The word comes from a root that means to kneel, bend the knee, or bring low. How to receive what God gives you is written in the same language that He used to describe it. The barakah does not stand for you. You receive it while sitting or kneeling low. There is no ceiling between your eyes and the source when you are in this position. The only direction you can look is up. God told Abraham to count the stars. That was the size of the promise, not a number Abraham picked. It was such a big number that counting it taught Abraham something. Don't try to put a number on what I'm giving you. Abraham thought about a promise for many years that seemed physically impossible. But it still stood, because it wasn't based on his abilities. The person who made it had to be a certain kind of person. Your promise is built the same way. It doesn't depend on how good you are. It doesn't matter how ready you are. All of it depends on how reliable the source is. That source has never broken a promise, either. God told Abraham that the blessing would never end. The only thing that stopped it was the person who received it. Abraham had faith, but the ceiling stayed in place for decades because of his body, his schedule, and his natural abilities. There is no ceiling on the receiver you were born with. The one that the modern world gave you works. That ceiling is what needs to be fixed. And there is a specific way to do it. Here's something you didn't know before this message. The blessing ceiling taught you that God never put limits on what He could give you. It was yours. You learned from the overflow collapse that your nervous system didn't like abundance because it was used to scarcity and hadn't been taught how to handle what's bigger than what it knows. When you were told to sit down, the receiving posture taught you to stop striving and start receiving. The infinite remainder taught you that what you asked for is not what God prepared. What He prepared is too big for your mind to hold. In light of all this, this is who you are. You're not hurt. You are being put together. The collapse doesn't punish you. It is okay for you to build without a ceiling. You sat down today not because you were defeated, but because you finally got it. Sitting is the posture of someone who is about to get something too heavy to carry while standing. That's what you've been. That's not the person you have to stay with. Now, I'm going to tell you what that group of neuroscientists found, because it has everything to do with what we've been talking about in terms of capacity, receiving, and the ceiling that has been holding you back. The Nobel Prize in Neuroscience was given to Dr. Roger Sperry in 1981 for his work on the two sides of the human brain. What he found was completely new. The left and right hemispheres are not just two parts of the same brain. There are two different ways of processing information, and each one has its own language, way of seeing the world, and way of understanding. Both hemispheres work together when a baby is born. Thoughts and ideas flow together like a river. Divergent thinking was found to be at the genius level in 98% of the kids who took the test. When they become adults, that number drops to 2%. There is no longer a link between childhood and adulthood after a certain point. And if the connection is broken, the blessing ceiling forms on its own, because a broken receiver can't pick up provision above a certain height. This isn't because the provision isn't there, but because the instrument that's measuring it can't calibrate that high. A woman from California gave a very clear account of the blessing ceiling. She said she felt a huge object coming toward her, and then saw her body push it away before it could land. She had raised the bar so high that she couldn't tell the difference between faith and protective numbness. The first thing that changed about her life 10 days after she started the synchronization work was not her plans. It was when she stopped shaking. She talked about getting the biggest blessing of her adult life without having to brace herself. When the gift came, the hands were open for the first time. A man from Texas said that the receiving posture was the strangest thing he had ever done. Sitting down when he had been trained to stand, manage, and be in charge. After 2 weeks, he talked about getting something he had prayed for 6 years. He wasn't tired because it had finally arrived. He was just tired enough to notice it was already there. The delivery was going around and around. The receiver had just logged on. A doctor from New York named Dr. Daniel Barron studied the link between brain function and spiritual ability for more than 20 years. In a specialized medical setting, his team used clinical neural sync technology to activate the whole brain for more than an hour. They then turned that into an 8-minute targeted auditory sequence by compressing and fine-tuning it a lot. 8 minutes a day, with headphones on and eyes closed. There you have it, the only physical requirement. The smart switch is what they call it. It's not a meditation. No, it's not a way to relax. This is a clinically designed neural synchronization tool based on Nobel Prize-winning research. It connects the two halves of your brain and brings back the full brain activation you had as a child but lost because of conditioning. The collapse of the overflow is an event in the nervous system. The body rejecting things that are too much for it to handle. Dr. Barron's work on hemisphere synchronization restores the nervous system's ability to handle both plenty and lack. People have been waiting for this update for a long time. Not everyone can use the genius switch. People who have felt the fog, the ceiling, and the overflow collapse are the ones who should read this. They know deep down that the sharpest, clearest, most powerfully connected version of themselves is still alive somewhere beneath the static. When Dr. Barron first told his coworkers about this technology, they all liked it. At $500, this would be a great deal. The cost of a neurofeedback session in person is $300 an hour. It costs $7,000 for a home machine. He didn't set the price at $500, $200, or $100. The Genius Switch cost $49 when it came out. And for people who find it through this page, an extra discount brings the price down to $39. It comes with 4 free extras: a guided visualization made by a top-rated creator on the Calm app, a smart grocery guide that can save you over $100 a month, and an old text on manifestation that everybody knows, and a printable infographic with 5 habits that will help you stick to your daily routine. For every $1, you can get your money back, no questions asked. Just listen once. 80 times listen. Your money back in full if it doesn't work the way it has for over 18,000 other people. There are no conditions, not a question. In other places, you can find fake versions. There are copies that use similar language, but don't have the neural sync technology that Dr. Barron created. You can only get the Genius Switch from the link in the description below this message and in the comment that was pinned. If what I just said was true, the link is in the description and the comment that was pinned. 39. Access for life. No risk at all. one source you can trust. Before we go back to the more serious parts of this message, I want to make one thing clear. That's exactly what the tool I just talked about is. Anything. It's not where your change comes from. The thing is an instrument, like a door key. The room is not the key. There was always a room there. In spite of this, having the key makes the difference between being outside and inside. There is a link in the description if you have reached this point and are still not sure if what we talked about is real. A door that is open and will stay open when your spirit tells you to leave. Now I'm going to take you to a place where everything we've talked about is more than just facts. Because data that doesn't have a form is just noise. You didn't come here to make noise, either. Please close your eyes for a short time if you can. Not in a vague, dream-like way, but in full, vivid, sensory detail. Picture yourself in 6 months. You know you're in the same room, but it doesn't feel the same as it does today. A window on your left lets in the light of the morning. It's not just the temperature that makes your skin feel warm. There is no longer any warmth in a life that works below a ceiling. It's like there's more room in your chest than there was 6 months ago. For the first time in years, you don't reach for your phone out of fear or desperation when you do. You reach out with confidence. Now that you have the clarity that was taken away. No longer is there any fog, and the choices you're making now are leading to outcomes that the previous version of yourself could not have imagined. And in that future moment, someone who loves you is sitting across from you. They are looking at you with a look you haven't seen in a long time, not admiration, but recognition. They are seeing the real you that was hidden by fog, the ceiling, and the collapse. That's not just a dream. The place your life is moving toward right now is that. I'm going to walk you through something very specific now. This is a guided mental activation that is meant to make what was said stick in your body, as well as your mind. Put your hands down where they will naturally land. Now, slowly breathe in through your nose, hold it for 3 seconds, and then let it out through your mouth. I want you to picture the blessing ceiling as a real building above your head as you let out that breath. Check out its feel. Check out its weight. Check to see how close it has been to getting to you. Now picture that as you let out your breath, the ceiling starts to crack. Not around the edges, but in the middle, above your head, and light starts to come in through the crack. Not a small flow, a huge one. It's so warm and bright that your body reacts before your mind has a chance to think about it. Your shoulders go down. Your jaw opens up. It opens up in your chest. The receiving posture is being used in your body right now. Reframe what you just went through. It was your nervous system telling you something that your body already knew, but your mind had been blocking. The ceiling was not put up by God, it was put in place by pain. What you just felt was the first moment it was taken away. Put your hand on your chest. Listen to your heart. Since the beginning of your life, that beat has been going under the ceiling, never stopping. You've never accepted that the limit is permanent. Your heart wouldn't bow down to the ceiling. Follow the rest of you. We have now reached the holy ground, chosen one. This is where the message stops being something you hear, and starts being something you carry. I heard every prayer you said in your head when you didn't think anyone was there, my child. When the lights were off and everyone was asleep, I caught every tear that fell. I kept every dream alive in a place that no one could reach. Even the ones that other people said were dead. What I planned could never be stopped by the ceiling you built to protect yourself. It only made you move more slowly for a short time, so that the fullness could come. And it has now. Breathe as an act of trust, not as a technique. As you breathe in, you say, I am willing to receive. And as you breathe out, you say, I release the ceiling. Chosen one, I am so grateful for you right now. Not for listening, for staying alive, and for making it to this point with your spirit still whole. Let go with me now. Let go of the ceiling that told you the blessing could only go so far. Let it go. Allow the collapse that fought abundance when it tried to come into your life to go. Let it go. Let go of the standing position that made you work so hard when the teacher told you to sit down. Let it go. Let go of the small prayers that were formed by pain instead of hope. Let it go. Let go of the schedule you made for when things were supposed to happen. Let it go. Do not listen to the doubt that told you not to hope too much when it was really just doubt. Let it go. Don't be afraid that what God said might happen to someone else instead of you. Let it go. Let go of the tiredness of trying to earn something that was always yours. Let it go. Let go of everything that is stopping you from having the fullness right now. Let it go now. I have been picked. Not by my own choice, but by the choice of the one who made me before I was made. I was the only one who made it out of the furnace alive, and without smelling smoke. Because of the weight of a blessing that can't be measured, my ceiling has been broken. I am the one who sat down and grew big enough to hold what standing could never hold. I'm not too late. Right on time I am. I'm not too broken. I'm just broken enough for the light to shine through the cracks and light up everything it touches. I have been picked. The blessing can go on forever. I am sitting down. I'm ready too. It's mine too. In the comments I write, I am the chosen one. Use your whole chest to type it. It should be typed with the conviction of someone whose life just got better because of a force that doesn't care about human limits. You are making this claim. Close it up. That's how it is. Signed in the name of the one who started it, kept it going, and will finish it. Yes, I need you to do 3 things before you leave. Not for me, but for the next person who needs this message. If this message made you feel something, please click the like button slowly. With each press, the chance that this message will reach another chosen person sitting under their own ceiling right now grows. Pick out someone in your life who is going through a time like the ones we talked about today. Someone who should be sitting but is standing. Someone putting limits on what God can do because they learned from their pain not to expect too much. Send this message to them. Don't say anything. The right person hears the right message. Also press subscribe if you haven't already. To belong, not for numbers. A huge group of people have been chosen to receive these messages and use them in their daily lives. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. In the next message, I'll see you. But what was set off today doesn't wait. You can already feel it moving and changing the way your life is built from the inside out. Have faith in the seat. Believe the person who told you to sit down. This blessing can be as big as it wants to be, and so can you. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary, where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.